Hey folks, we are on the dev server taking a look at the Su-30SM. This is going to be a new fighter in the Soviet tech tree. Taking a look here, it's going to be in the centerline column of the tech tree, all the way down at the bottom at BR 14.0. You can pause there if you want to take a longer look at the stat card. Just be aware that this is the dev server. All of this is subject to change. Taking a look at the pilot, you can see we've got full ballistics computer, decent radar warning receiver. The radar set, we've got the N011M plus in infrared search and track. You can see all the radar modes there. Again, dev server, all of this is subject to change. Let's take a look at these ridiculously inappropriate weapon loadouts. So we've got a whole slew of all of the top-end Russian air-to-ground stuff. We've got Grom 2s. So that's going to be a thing again. Look, yeah, we got KH-38MLs. I mean, we got the whole deal here. Notably, we have a targeting pod. For, I believe, the first time on a Soviet or Russian aircraft in War Thunder, they're actually giving us an external targeting pod. So that'll be interesting to play with once the update goes live. Shameless plug, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss that. And also, sometime in the next couple of weeks, I've got a 100,000 subscriber sort of celebration video coming up. I will post a link in a pinned comment. If you want to leave me a question, I'm going to be answering member questions about War Thunder, YouTube, other games, real life, whatever. And hopefully we'll have some fun with that. Anyway, looking at the weapons, we've got the R27ET, R27ER, standard flanker stuff. We have the R77-1. Now, you're wondering how that compares to the regular R77. I will throw a little graphic up on the screen, so you can pause here if you want to take a longer look and compare those. It is, at the moment, just a higher performance R77. Although this is the dev server, everything is subject to change. And of course, we have the R73s, which are the same close range, all aspect dogfighting missiles that we've all come to know and love. Let's take a look at the modifications. So you're going to see the progression for this is 27ET to R73 to ER to R77-1. Again, you can pause here if you want to take a longer look at that. Let's get this thing into the air because that's what everybody wants to see. Okay, we are up in the Su-30SM. My goodness, that is a beautiful aircraft. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to take this into a regular match for any PvP combat, but there is still a bunch of stuff I want to show you, even if it's just in a test flight. Look at this ridiculous amount of weapons. We have 14 missiles on this thing. 14 missiles. 12 R77-1s and a pair of R73s. Or, of course, you can, sort of mix and match out some of the other options. My goodness, that is ridiculous. We have a cockpit, so that's decent. Notice we do not have a HUD on the HMD dev server. We may get that when it goes live. Let's see if we've got... Okay, my keybinds to swap MFD modes are not doing anything. I confirmed that I have my keybinds set with the F18. So as of right now on the dev server, those are not MFDs. These are static displays. But still, a relatively decent cockpit interior, even though, again, dev server, all of this is subject to change. Now, what everybody wants to see is the crazy high angle of attack stuff like with the F18, and there are some differences. But I want to draw your attention to something else. I want you to watch my exhaust nozzles as I'm flying this plane. The Su-30SM has thrust vectoring engines, which is crazy. So I'm going to pull a high angle of attack maneuver. This is called a flippity-doo. That is a technical term. Don't question it. And I want you to pay attention to the nozzles as well as my airspeed. So I'm going to turn off the AOA limiter, kill the afterburner, and just pitch up. There we go. I am now an air brake. Look at the nozzles. You can see there. Genuine thrust vectoring for the first time in War Thunder. Not including like the Harrier and the Yak 141, but You can see there, nozzles like differential vectoring. My goodness, that airspeed just vanished. So, now we'll go into a little bit more detail after we've shown off some of the craziness. What that control setting actually is. Everyone's going to call it the Cobra button. Everyone's going to call it the AOA button. I probably will too, just for shorthand. But it is actually a safety switch that disables safety features in the fly-by-wire to allow your aircraft to depart from controlled flight. It allows you to throw enough angle of attack that the bottom of your aircraft is going to become an air brake relative to the relative wind, the oncoming air that you're flying into. Now, if you look here, all right, I'm just starting a horizontal turn at 0.97 Mach. You can see we've got relatively decent turn performance. We're pulling sustained 9Gs. We're getting some good angle of attack out of this. This is without the limiter turned off. I'm not doing anything. I'm just pulling horizontally. And you can see we got, a couple of times around before we lost most of our airspeed there. Relatively good turn performance, right? Give me a second. I'm going to speed up again and show you that with the AOA limiter turned off. Okay, so now same thing again. I am going to pull a horizontal turn starting at about 0.97 Mach. I just hit the button. And once we get a little bit further into this and our AOA gets a little bit more crazy, you're going to see some interesting results after I lose control. Sorry about the trigger time. Right there, we just hit it. So we just departed controlled flight, and we are purely ballistic at this point, flying entirely off of engine thrust. You can see the thrust vectoring controls went crazy. We lost all of our airspeed, and we are in a brick drop. So that is a real thing. I have actually done that in a real plane. It is scary as hell. And if you do not have enough altitude, you are dead. So you need to be very careful when you're using that setting. It's going to be really fun to use that to perform flippity-doo maneuvers, especially, to force somebody into overtaking you or whatever. But the price you pay is a dramatic loss in airspeed once you exit from controlled flight. I'm going to show you one of those on the vertical axis. Let me just build up a little bit more airspeed again. We'll turn the setting off. I'm going to leave the afterburners full on. We'll go for about 0.85 Mach. There we go. So this isn't really a full Cobra because my throttle was too high, but look at that. And again, the thrust vectoring nozzles doing their thing. My airspeed is absolutely gone, but I am doing some really good high-quality flippity-doos, and I am dropping like a brick. So the actual combat utility of those maneuvers is going to be questionable, aspirational at best, more meme than meta, but possible. And because the Su-30SM has those canards up in front, it's going to be able to recover from those post-stall maneuvers a lot better than some other aircraft like the F-18 or F-16 or even like the entry model Su-27 and so on. So my gut tells me this thing is going to be a monster in one-on-one close-up dogfights like within 5 kilometers if you can master the application of the angle of attack limiter switch. But, this is the Devserver. We all know that Devserver flight models are pretty wonky sometimes. We're going to have to wait until the patch goes live to see how it actually performs. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I will have a full review of this once the patch goes live. I'll probably have a poll up asking folks what order they want to see the reviews come out in. And make sure you don't miss my 100,000 subscriber kind of celebration vid coming up sometime in the next few weeks. As always, thanks for watching.